Rob Tebbutt here for ID Boxing. Delighted, as always, to be joined by none other than Alex Krassyuk of K2 Promotions. We're here in a very, very, very sunny Saudi Arabia. Alex, always a pleasure to catch up with my friend. How are you?
Thank you very much. It's my great pleasure to see you in person, not just on the screen, but here to hug you in a very pleasant, very special place of Saudi Arabia. It's not like you used to travel here every year or twice a year. That's something special, an exotic place.
It certainly is a very exotic place. I stood outside on your balcony for about 30 seconds and I had to come back in before there wasn't very much of me left. When did you arrive to Saudi Arabia?
Last night. I arrived last night and I'm still like trying to get used to the climate. But locals say that their life starts after 6 when sun goes down. So now I understand why.
Me too. Let's jump straight into it. We've had a very long chat off camera and we've eaten into our interview time, but that's fine. It's always good to catch up with you. Talk to us about the fight. I tweeted about half an hour after the end of the first fight in London. Looks like we're going to go to Saudi Arabia. That's where we are. Took a little bit longer to get things up and running, I think it's fair to say. Talk to me about the deal to bring Usyk-Joshua to Saudi Arabia.
I will try to be short because this is actually a long story. The fight, the deadline for the rematch was set for April 24 or 28, I don't remember exactly. And we were planning to have it something maybe in April, beginning of April, maybe end of March. Then some things happened in our homeland. And within first 3-4 weeks of the war, we didn't even imagine whether this fight gonna take place at all. At the end of the day, Usyk took his decision with the support of his fans, with the support of militaries. He visited hospitals, he visited wounded soldiers, he talked to the high-rank military officers, and he got nothing but words of support and blessings to do his job, to do what he has to do, to fight, to take the rematch, because he would have the chance to represent his country on a world level. So everyone wanted the anthem to be heard, the flag to be risen. That comes as the special incentive for the soldiers to fight, as the motivation for Ukrainians to stand, and only positive vibes. So that's how he took his decision, and then we started to arrange this decision in the paperwork. So initially the fight was scheduled for the 21st of July, but then our partners here in Saudi, Skill Challenge Entertainment, they had to reschedule it for the May 20th, or for the August 20th, and that's where we are now. It took us quite a long time. It took us some work. It took us some time, it took us some efforts, but at the end of the day, we are here. We are in Saudi Arabia. Usyk has arrived successfully. He's in good shape, in good spirits, and we are waiting for this fight week. So many things to happen. Press conference, open workout, the weigh-in, some medias, interviews, meetings. So it's like an adventure now.
We've spoken about the war previously a few months ago, so I don't want to go too far into that. But if you can, talk to me about just the mood at home now compared to where we spoke a few months ago, which I think is fair to say was a different sort of time in there. What can you tell me about the mood at home now?
Many things changed. Unfortunately, people are dying. Unfortunately, civilians are dying. Unfortunately, soldiers are dying. But the war is the war. A la guerre comme à la guerre, as they say. It's the rules of the war. Someone has to die while fighting. If you put efforts, if you are motivated, if it's not like an individual thing, it's a group thing. Not just the group. It comes to it takes the whole country. So people want to fight for freedom, and they are fighting for freedom. And Ukraine has been fighting for freedom for many, many years, including the time from when Soviet Union collapsed. So within the last 30 years, Ukraine been fighting for it, and now it's the exam, actually. How did you get your material? Now, Ukrainian people, Ukrainian army shows that they feel what they are fighting for. They want their country to live. They want their people to live in a democratic, in civilized world, and we all are very positive about what's going to happen within the next couple of months. And with the help of Lord, Ukraine will finally gain its complete independence and will stay within the Western mentality.
I want to talk about recently the news that we saw that Oleksandr Usyk was attempting to acquire the rights for this fight to be shown back home, and it was gifted to him by Skill Challenge and the Ministry of Sport in Saudi Arabia. What can you tell me about that?
Actually, when the fight was not even announced, when we agreed about the fight, Usyk asked for the TV rights to negotiate this, because he wanted this time that people in Ukraine could watch it for free without any restrictions, just on as many channels as possible, so there are not going to be any obstacles in watching it. I mean, like on TV or on streaming, or so it could be seen anywhere. So Prince Khalid was approached with a request, and Usyk said that he wanted to buy out the rights. So we asked the Skill Challenge whether it's possible, and Prince Khalid did not accept any money from the champion. He said, there's no way we're gonna sell it to him, but we will gift it to him. So then we worked out the strategy that while this fight is on TV, we will collect donations for people in need in Ukraine. We will all the money that's gonna come from the sponsors of this broadcast will also be directed to the Usyk Foundation, and then after the fight, Usyk will decide how to spend this money on charity, or helping people in need, helping militaries, helping Ukrainian army, helping whatever he thinks is the proper way to spend this money. So that's actually it is. So at this moment, this fight gonna be broadcast in Ukraine on national TV called Suspilne, the public TV, the 2+2 TV station, on Megogo streaming platform, and on our partners Rematch, also streaming platform that's used for betting. So we expect from 5 to 10 millions to watch it, because he is the national hero. People want him to win. People are thirsty for things like that. So we expect many people to watch it.
You said earlier that Oleksandr Usyk is here. He's in shape. We've seen videos of him recently. I mentioned to you the other day, and the word that you use is cyborg.
Yeah.
How heavy is he? I mean, one of his key attributes is his speed, his movement. A lot of people, myself included, are interested to see how heavy he is and whether or not it's going to affect his performance.
I think we will definitely see it on Friday at the weigh-in, but he's not out of the range of his normal weight. So I don't think his weight going to be anything different from the weight he had in the first fight. That's his best condition. I mean, his speed and his power is on the best level when he stays in his weight, something around 220 pounds.
Since the first fight, Anthony Joshua is now training with Robert Garcia. He's no longer with Rob McCracken. How do you expect that to change anything during the fight, if at all?
It might change the mentality of the fight. I mean, Robert Garcia is a different man, is a different personality, and he will probably tell him different things. But would it change his skills? I don't think so, because to change your skills in boxing, you have to work for many years. It's not like a matter of 6 months. You can improve something, you can get rid of something, but not in general. It might not change the whole picture. Any trainer, would it be Robert Garcia or anyone else that would come to AJ's camp, he would probably concentrate on improving his advantages and hiding his disadvantages. So AJ is a strong man. He has power in his glove. He's bigger, taller, more massive. These are things he has to use better. But he's not that skilled in boxing techniques like Usyk. He hasn't got that speed, footwork, so he'll probably have to concentrate on different things. Because the first fight, he announced it before the fight that he wants to overbox Usyk, but this is not probably the way to do it. Joshua is strong. He fought a couple of really serious fights, and listen, he knocked out Vladimir Klitschko. After he got up after being knocked down in a serious knockdown on the floor. So he lost to Andy Ruiz Jr. He came back. By the way, here in Saudi Arabia, he came back with success. He was cautious, he was concentrated, he was doing proper things. So my anticipation is that this fight going to be completely different. We're going to see a very aggressive Anthony Joshua, but he will probably be aggressive in the first part of the fight, probably first 6 rounds. Otherwise, if he's ready to be that aggressive within 12 rounds, he will probably become the strongest heavyweight of all times.
Oleksandr Usyk made a very good start to the first fight. He came out, he landed a southpaw left hand 11 seconds into the fight. How important is it that he makes another fast start on Saturday night against Anthony Joshua?
That's his mentality. You know, his corner, they prepare the plan for each fight. While preparing the plan, they analyze their opponent. Is he sensible to any special things? We all understand that AJ is sensible for some special things like getting hit instead of hitting himself. Like Mike Tyson said, you have a game plan until you got hit. Then you have no game plan, B or 3, maybe you have 5 game plans, but they all disappear after a couple of strong punches. And this is serious business. I mean, this is not, you cannot play boxing. When you come to the ring, you have to defend yourself. It's more skill of defense rather than skill of offense. And footwork is something that how to say, that make things different. If you are active, if you move a lot, you are a moving target, and we all know moving target is not that hard to hit. It's not that easy to hit. That's why I think the footwork will be a decisive factor in the fight.
Usyk said after the fight that he wanted to be more aggressive as the fight went on, but his corner team held him back. Have you had any sense from him that he wants to be more aggressive in the rematch? Does he want to go for the stoppage?
Both guys have the experience of fighting each other already, so I think the first couple rounds will not be like in the first fight. You have to be cautious. You have to investigate what's going on. You have to feel the opponent. I think now there's going to be first round will be a mess, and there is going to be a real hell for Usyk. I trust this. I really feel that AJ will come with a do or die strategy. Overboxing Usyk is impossible mission for him. So he has to kill him. He has to destroy him with his power. So that's what he's gonna do. And Usyk's assignment is to stay away from his power, to move, to give him that rhythm of a fight. So his breath would be like in a different rhythm than Usyk's breath. And his throwing punches will be in a different rhythm that Usyk is throwing punches. This is the timing. This is something that comes from your experience, from your hunch, from your feeling, from your boxing IQ. And with Usyk, we understand that he has some sort of it. But with AJ, he has to surprise us.
In the last few days, we've seen that there's another belt on the line, the Ring Magazine title, of course, vacated by Tyson Fury. The now retired Tyson Fury, beg your pardon.
Again.
We've spoken about him in the past, Tyson Fury.
Yeah.
I think it's fair to say when we've spoken about him in the past, you haven't necessarily believed that he's retired. Do you believe he's retired now?
No, I don't believe he's retired. Even if he relinquishes the WBC belt, I don't think he's retired. I remember Vitaly Klitschko retired and he came back after 4 years. So I don't feel like it's possible for him. He's happy with what he did, but he will be thirsty for boxing again. There is no boxer I know who would say, "Oh, I regret I was a boxer." No, no, no. Everyone wants to stay in. So Tyson is the great champion, and I doubt he will just stop boxing that way.
Some of the narrative is that if Anthony Joshua wins, Tyson Fury will come back to fight Anthony Joshua. If Oleksandr Usyk wins, he may not come back to fight Oleksandr Usyk. Do you believe he's, I don't want to say ducking, but avoiding Oleksandr Usyk?
If I was Fury's manager, I would probably try to stay away from Usyk. Not because Usyk is mission impossible for Tyson, but it's a very dangerous mission. Remember Lennox Lewis, he left boxing being the king on the throne. He never came back for the rematch with Vitaly Klitschko, though it was such a... Vitaly pushed it so hard. He tried he took as many efforts as was possible. He wanted, because he felt confident he will destroy him in the rematch, and Lennox Lewis was smart enough to avoid the rematch. With Tyson, it might probably be the same. So if he wants to stay the king, if he doesn't want to prove anything, then he has to stay away from Usyk. But if he wants to become the history, if he wants to leave that heritage, if he wants to fight for legacy, then he would have to accept the fight for the undisputed heavyweight championship, whether it's Usyk or AJ or whoever.
Is that Oleksandr Usyk's next mission? Obviously, I know he won't be looking past Saturday night. He's got a job to do. If he is successfully beats Anthony Joshua, undisputed heavyweight champion after being cruiserweight champion, sounds like something he might want to do.
It's a part of a plan.
Okay, Alex, always a pleasure catching up with you. I understand that you've got to shoot. So before I let you go, just want to talk about, you've mentioned his name, Vitaly Klitschko. We've seen Vitaly and Vladimir recently with everything that's going on in the Ukraine. If Oleksandr Usyk is able to repeat his win over Anthony Joshua, where does that put him with Vladimir Klitschko, Vitaly Klitschko in the Ukraine?
In the same sky level. So Vitaly and Vladimir, they are legends. They are legends not just for Ukraine. For Ukraine, they are special legends. They are legends in the world of boxing. Usyk approached that level. So he's an active fighter. He's an active reigning champion. His name is mentioned in the media probably more often than Vladimir's or Vitaly's name, because he's an active athlete, active champion. But the size of the personality, it's not just because of boxing. It's not because you were successful in the ring. It's because you worked hard, you developed yourself. And that's what can bring Usyk to the same level in the future, which I trust he will be. So Vitaly is the mayor of Kiev. He is the boss of Kiev, and he is the best loved manager of Kiev. People want him to be, people love him to be, and people just enjoy him being the mayor. With Vladimir, he's not involved in politics, thanks God. And I trust he will never be. But in these difficult times, he makes as much as possible to support his country, to support his brother, to support Ukraine, and to attract as much help from outside as possible, using his image. And with Usyk, he does the same. So heavyweight champions is the heritage of Ukrainian nation.
I forgot one question. We saw him downstairs when we arrived. Johnny Nelson had some interesting things to say about Oleksandr Usyk recently. The words average southpaw were mentioned. You know Oleksandr Usyk very well. You've seen Johnny downstairs. What do you make of those comments?
Well, I love Johnny. I respect him. I respect his opinion. But I also respect the opinion of Usyk's former coach, Bashir. James Ali Bashir. So we have to respect all the opinions, you know. Everyone has a right for mistake. Probably Johnny has his own right and uses his own right for mistake. Usyk is definitely not an average southpaw. Maybe he's in average size southpaw, but his skills are not average. Definitely not.
We'll go down and we'll speak to Johnny after this. Alex, always a pleasure to catch up with you. I'm very glad that we've done this in person instead of on the phone.
That was a huge pleasure.
Thank you very much for speaking to ID Boxing, and we look forward to catching up with you, I'm sure, before the fight on Saturday night here in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia.
Definitely.